You have diabetes, so you could never have sugar? I can't imagine never having candy again.
Okay, seriously? I have gotten this so many times. I can eat anything that I want to as long as I take insulin for it. If I seriously could not eat sugar, do you know what I would survive on? Lettuce. There is almost nothing in the world that doesn't have any sugar in it. So this is just not, there are people that refrain from eating lots of sugar, but there are people who aren't diabetic who do that. So I don't really understand where the anti-sugar sentiment comes from, but it's just not true.
Are you checking your blood pressure?
Okay, this is just dumb. I think most people have gotten their blood pressure tested at one time or another and know that it involves putting a cuff around your arm. So if you see me pricking my finger and blood coming out, why would I be checking my blood pressure? I do not understand. At all.
Wow, that is such a cool MP3 player. Where did you get it?
Really? It's 2015. Who has an MP3 player anymore? This is an insulin pump. If you see someone with this, do not ask them if it's an MP3 player. Do not ask them if it's a phone. It's an insulin pump. It is what it sounds like. It pumps insulin into my body. That's all it does. Instead of taking multiple shots, I have this connected to me at all times. That's it. It doesn't even look like an MP3 player at all. It's huge. It's in my pocket. Not to mention it's connected to my body with a wire. So when people ask me this, I just kind of look at them and I just think, how?
I hate needles. I could never be a diabetic.
I love needles. I don't know many people that could say that they like getting shots. Do you think that I enjoy giving myself shots? Because I don't. I've gotten used to it, so it doesn't freak me out like it freaks out some other people, but I don't think there are any diabetics in the world that just enjoy giving themselves insulin and pricking their finger and using needles at all. When I was diagnosed, it's not like I already loved getting shots, so you don't get to choose whether you give yourself shots or not. It just happens.
Did you know that you can take pills now instead of shots?
I get this one a lot, and I really don't get that mad when people say this because I know that they're genuinely concerned with me taking medication and they're just trying to prevent me from having to take shots all the time. But the fact of the matter is that many drugs that are in pill form that are used for diabetes are used for type 2 diabetics because most of these pills are supposed to make you more sensitive to insulin, which is the main issue for type 2 diabetics, is that their insulin sensitivity has gone down, either because of obesity or old age or other reasons. For type 1 diabetic to take an insulin sensitivity drug, it wouldn't do anything because type 1 diabetics don't produce any insulin to begin with, so you can't become more sensitive to something that you don't have.
Why are you wearing that diabetes shirt?
Oh, I have type 1 diabetes.
Oh, is it contagious?
Diabetes never has been, never will be, and is not contagious. Type 1 diabetes specifically is an autoimmune disease. What happens is your body goes through an immune response like it would with some kind of virus or infection, and instead of attacking cells that don't belong in your body, it starts attacking your alpha cells in your pancreas, which produce insulin. So once it starts attacking them, the cells can't produce insulin anymore. That's how you become diabetic.
Courtney, if you're diabetic, why aren't you fat? Rose, you can't just ask someone why they're not fat.
Thank you for this extremely unnecessary backhanded compliment. I'm not fat because type 1 diabetes doesn't involve obesity. It is an autoimmune disease, like I just explained. It has nothing to do with your weight. It has nothing to do with your diet.
Are you diabetic because you ate too much sugar as a kid?
Yeah, because I had so much more sugar than you as a kid. Again, type 1 diabetes has nothing to do with your diet. If I had more sugar than you as a kid, so what? No, it does not have anything to do with me having Kool-Aid when I was little and you having water. There's no correlation whatsoever.
Why don't you just get a pancreas transplant?
Wow, because getting organ transplants is so easy to begin with. Yes, in the past, they have tried with type 1 diabetics to use pancreas transplants, but there are so many factors that go into the fact that this isn't widely practiced. One, it doesn't really work that well. Most people who get pancreas transplants that have type 1 diabetes still have to take insulin, so what's the point? Second of all, like I just said, it's not easy to get organ transplants. You have to wait for someone to die and take their organs, and then you have to be on the transplant list to get the organ. It just doesn't make sense. Third of all, if you could completely cure the disease, which they're trying to do right now, and find a beneficial way that is easy for everyone and doesn't have other complications like a transplant would, wouldn't it be better to focus on trying to cure the disease instead of just finding some other pancreas to put in your body that might reject it or might not even work?